So I love Adele. He literally kind of came to the U.S. with nothing and looked at this as a huge opportunity and took advantage of it. I also give him a really hard time because he's very successful in a business he's not supposed to know anything about. But he figured out an alternative business model, which is what I really love, and I'm going to let him tell the story for you guys. So Adele, that's me.
Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. How are you? My God, okay. Do I see any foreigners in this gathering? Local foreigners? I don't see any. Oh my God. That's incredible. All right. Everybody speaks English? Beside me, I mean, you're going to have to get used to me for a minute. Hello? Hello? So am I to assume this is what level class is this?
It's listed as a senior level class and also as a graduate level class.
Because they look young.
I know. Actually, we're just getting older.
My God. Okay. Do we have any millionaires in this class? No? Any aspiring millionaires in this class? This guy, right? Look at this. Aha. Now we're going after it. And how many people are taking entrepreneur or business as a career? 2, 3. Okay. Any engineers in this class? Okay. Any accountant? Okay. The reason I'm asking this, I had a headhunter came into my office yesterday looking for accountant. He said, I have 27 application. I need the request. He needs accountant. I never knew the state of Oklahoma have a shortage of accountant. So you guys are going to do well. Well, I don't have any really specialized knowledge to teach you. I don't have any special techniques to share with you. You're smarter than me 100 times because you know how to use an iPhone. So for the sake of disclosure, I am technologically an Amish. Okay? So don't look for me for high-tech, sophistication. That's not me. I do have a degree in horticulture, if that tells you anything. But year after year, Dr. Gajan keep insisting on me coming back to share with you some things that is not taught in class, it's not in books, and may border on some illegal activities. May, it's not. So, just to make sure you know, I still have a flip phone, so don't doubt me. Right? Okay. It's not like I'm anti-technology. But I don't see the people that I work with when they're using this type of phone, I didn't see it as to be really productive, that contributed to anyone really making twice as much more money, 3 times, 4 times, especially when they call them smartphones. The phones are smart. Most of the people that carries them are not. That's what I've noticed. Because I can always measure by what's your ranking financially before the iPhone or after the iPhone. And I've seen a lot of people in trouble. Why? Productivity is down. That's just general observation. And so far, I have 2 or 3, companies that I play with, and I'm running them just fine on this phone. I don't have a single minute to waste on it as surfing the net, whatever it is, because this phone, I don't think it does that. I don't even know if it does. So there is no potential for wasting a minute on BS. Now, why I'm telling you all this? Because you may think you're young. You may think that you have so much time to really make all the mistakes in the world and end up doing well financially. So everything I'm speaking about is financially. Anybody that are not interested in making money and being focused, I think Dr. Gajan will let you leave. So we're talking about money. Why? Because we live in a country that is called the capitalist system. capitalist system lives and dies on money. If you doubt that, you have Russia for an answer or other nations. And I knew that the day I came to the United States. In fact, that's why I came to the United States. In Lebanon, we have no possibility of any opportunity. It's bankrupt, corrupted nation. We export people, highly educated people. I wasn't one of them. I wasn't good in school that much. And I had the chance to go on a free scholarship to Moscow. But I have seen people from my own little town, when they went to go to school in Moscow, they can't work over there, they're starving, and their level of education is kind of questionable. They didn't have what I call the accomplishment when I compared them to other people who went to the United States 10, 12 years and came back. You see life, you see prosperity, you see hope, the people that came. So I was like in the middle here watching two type of people from the same place. One went west, one went east, and I saw the difference. They came back to Lebanon trying to buy products to take them back and sell them in the communist nation because there's a lot of shortages. Somebody studying to be a doctor in Moscow or Romania, which is my brother, he was too busy buying 15, 20 jeans because he can make money on them. Now, compare that to someone coming back from the United States for a visit his parents in the summer. Oh my God, what a difference. So I was like interviewing the future. I had that opportunity. Even though I was a socialist. I was a socialist back in Lebanon. And most socialists are people who doesn't have any money yet. It's easy to give other people money away, but not your own. So when people, preaching, we should give, we should blah, 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 the socialist idea, he's talking about somebody else's money, not his. Because if they're really that good, they can just write a check. But I don't see it. So it's been established that in the US, that's what we do. We have a potential future. And I came to this country, but I keep thinking, why does there so many poor people? Why does this country have so many poor people? Why? There's jobs everywhere. Even during the Carter administration when I came in, interest rate was almost 20%. Unemployment was almost 12 to 14%. But there's still opportunity. At least there's hope. You can find a job if you're willing to work. So there's something about this nation. The reason I'm telling you this about this country, which you're a son or a daughter of, because sometimes people seem to forget where they're at. If you don't know where you're at, you don't know what you're going to do with it. So you need to learn the rule of the game here. It is so easy to be poor in the United States. There's no law against it. And there's a lot of system to help people, feed them and clothe them, whatever it is. Other nations, they don't have that safety net. You're on the street. You're really starving. Unlike what I saw on TV about during the government shutdown, when I have seen overweight people being whatever government employees, screaming and crying like they're not going to have enough food by Friday. The biggest bullshit I've heard in my life. You compare that to somebody who's been walking for 6 months with no food and no water in some desert somewhere. Now, if that tells me I don't have any food and water, I understand that. Not in this country. Not in this country when you have a government job. So, never buy what you see, understand the system. So I made it my life understanding poverty. I am a specialist in poverty. There's a lot of books on how to be rich, but I don't think it's working. We need more books, how to be poor and what's the cause of poverty. I don't see too many books published like that because nobody thinks will buy them. And I'll tell you why my interest in poverty. So, coming here today for one reason for me is to see your generation, to interview you. What is it I'm going to be dealing with in the next 3, 4, 5 years? Because you guys, the player coming on the scene. I lost touch with your age group and what have you because I am dealing with something completely different. I am confused. Society rules has changed. The typical transfer, the generational transfer of ideas and thoughts when the mom and dad used to tell the son and daughter this is what you do, those rules have been violated completely. And that has changed the business relation between me and the client that I used to do business with. So for the last 30 years, used to be the grandfather will take the father to a store and they'll buy, then the son grow up and he has his own son, he bring him to my store because I've been doing this for 30 years. This has been interrupted now. I just want to understand why. It's changing everything. But you're not here to solve my problem. But being in business, we always look for opportunity to discover something that we don't know. And that's how you have an advantage over the other person. Now, how many people know what do I do for a living? Anybody know? Dr. Gajan, did you tell them what I do for a living?
You guys do something right. You own an Israeli diving company?
Okay, all right. So, all right. Is that a lucrative business? Ladies, what do you think? Is it lucrative? Okay. How much does it cost to open a jewelry store? Anybody, any idea? Millions. Okay. I went to Oklahoma State University in 84, when I graduated, so 80. And I didn't live in Stillwater. I was an out-of-state college student working in Tulsa because Oklahoma State University, with all the students, putting a lot of pressure on all the small businesses, so you have to fight for a minimum wage job. No grants, no support, no family, no nothing. In fact, I had to support back home family members. And when I came to this campus, I went to Wendy's on the street, and they were hiring, and they were paying $3.45 or $2.95, whatever it was the minimum wage in 1980. And there was at least 20 to 40 people applying that day. Even if you get full-time job, that's not going to pay the tuition. Back then it was like $50 an hour per credit. And I have a kid and a family and to support. That didn't work. But I've seen a lot of people still do this every day for the last 20, 30 years. They go take a job for making the minimum wage. So I decided now, because I was in Tulsa and I was waiting tables and I was making about $100 a night, working from 5 till 10 o'clock. Mainly cash, tips or cash. Why is that important, guys? Why? Why getting cash tips is important? Yes, sir.
You can choose to not report on your taxes as much.
Are you saying you can choose to cheat? Is that what you're telling me?
Well, everyone does it, but a lot of people do.
See what he said? Okay. Well, the rules are changing now. The restaurant has to report things. But still, you take a student with me sitting on this campus, and I had a group of people, of almost 4 or 5 guys, and said, why don't you just move in here? Okay, well, what are you doing at night? I'm sure you're not studying from 6 o'clock till 10 o'clock. No, we're going to go drink some beer, we're going to eat pizza, we're going to do this, a lot of activities. But they don't have $1 to spare. They don't. They don't have a penny. We used to go on a field tour, and we had to stop at the student union to get a donut. And there'll be students sharing quarters and pennies to buy donuts. And I said, stop, guys, this is going to take a lot of time. How much for all those donuts? How much? $10, $15? And why don't we just buy them all? I'll buy them all. The class immediately assumed, because I'm a foreigner, that I have oil money coming from Lebanon. Lebanon, the only liquid they have is sewer. There's no oil, there's no shit, nothing. That's a shitty country, period. But they immediately assume that I have money coming from back home. They're right, it is from back home, but it's in Tulsa, not Lebanon. I did tell them how I make money. It's not like people don't know, even when you show them. They didn't want to take the chance. They want to stay in Stillwater and do whatever, supposedly their grade. My grade was just as good to the other people, with one difference. I was making between $18,000 to $26,000 a year waiting tables. Back then, one of the professors in horticulture was making about $29,000 to $32,000. That didn't happen from a family or Lebanon. That happened in the United States. Especially, I couldn't speak English. Well, how did you get a waiter job? It was so difficult. There wasn't that many restaurants in Tulsa when I came in. There was maybe a few of them. So first, I had to choose a restaurant that has a high-ticket item. I don't work at a Denny's or Sambo's or whatever those, $3 breakfast stuff, because the average tip in this nation is about 15 to 20%. So you can't make any money like this. So I went to this restaurant. I wore my wedding suit in August. It was hotter than hell. It was hot. And I lied. I said, yeah, I just came from New York, and I'm this type of waiter that I was working at some famous restaurant. Oh, man, they were very impressed. There was 2 other American guys applying. They walked in with tank top, just dressed down. Somehow I was an oddity, and this guy said, you know what? I think I like you. I didn't speak much. I didn't want him to know that I cannot speak English very well. I've never waited tables. I knew nothing about alcohol in this country, what you serve and how it is. And it was during the Iranian hostage crisis. You guys were too young to remember that. Iran took almost 50 American from the embassy hostage, and I seemed to look like Iranians, so most redneck in this country believed I'm an Iranian, so I had to bear the brunt of that. Why is that important? Because people show anger on their face when I came into their table. I had no idea. To tell you how ignorant I was about waiting tables, 3rd, 4th night, I went to a table, and barely, I'm so afraid. Never understand drinks. I never heard Scotch and any of that stuff. I don't know any specialty names. And one of the big guys, kind of roughneck-like, oil-type people, 6 big guys, he said, Jack Daniels. I said, Adele Nasruddin, nice to meet you. I thought the courtesy things people introduce themselves. And he didn't smile, he gave me the nasty look. Remember, I'm that Iranian-looking guy, foreigner, and making fun of him or belittle him or something like that. So he did complain to the manager, this stupid foreigner, is joking, blah, blah, blah. So the owner knew that he said, no, what do you mean? So that to tell you how much I knew that to make a living, when you have to make a living. So it's not easy to bring someone and just overnight go make a living into a new nation. You don't understand any rules.